Welcome to ProPractice, your guide to refine, enliven, and illuminate the piano repertoire. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode is on the Tchaikovsky Concerto No.1 in B-flat. Very famous concerto, and I will link for this YouTube sample the video in the comments section below. Today's episode, we're going to explore many different things. Now, this is about an 18 to 20 minute first movement, so I won't be able to go into tiny details for every portion of the piece, but I will go over all the tricky passages and ones that aren't repetitive, because this piece does have certain repetitive qualities throughout. I'm going to go over fingerings for those passages. I'm going to go over dynamics and interpretation for the entire piece. And I'll also go over practice techniques to help you become as efficient as possible in your practicing. Things that will help you get the octaves like really fast, or this little part that's so hard, or even these. Because that took me a while to get comfortable with when I was first learning this. I learned about half of it in Michigan 3 years ago, half of the first movement, and then I did second and third, because it was a concerto competition. You had to do about 20 minutes. And then about 5 weeks before my performance, or 6 weeks, I guess, the conductor said, "Will you play Tchaikovsky with me on May 22nd? I said, "Sure." And it was like April 15th at that point. And I said, okay, cool. I'm just going to finish off the college lessons for the year, and then I'll start working on it. A month is enough time. He called me 1 week later. So it was like April 20th, April 22nd. He said, "Oh, can you play this on May 6th? And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't really even been learning it yet. And I had about half of it to learn and memorize in 2 weeks. So I'll also show you some of the ways that I memorized it on some of the trickier passages to be able to memorize it so darn quickly, because I don't like doing that, by the way. A lot of people hear stories of concert pianists saying, "Oh, I learned this Mozart concerto on a plane ride to the concert hall." None of them like doing that. I can tell you that for certain. Maybe some crazy ones loved it, but to be stressed and in a hurry to learn a piece like this was definitely an interesting process, and I want to show you some of the secrets and things that I've gone over with my teachers, and also personal discoveries. So let's dive right in. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to check your posture. So this bench is actually quite thin. It's a Hydro bench, and most artists' benches are much wider, but make sure that your butt is on usually the front half of the bench. The reason this is so important is your setup at the beginning is crucial. So what I like to do here as well, I don't like to just play, because that's not going to get you any power. I like to actually like lift my shoulders a little bit and come down, and then I like to play up into it. I don't lift my shoulders and I'm not tense like that. I just actually lift them so I feel that full extent of the weight of my body crashing into the keys, but with this nice full rich sound. It's not like this harsh smacking. You want a full rich bodied sound, okay? And with this part, you want to be pretty darn big throughout this section. You might lighten a little bit when you go like just come down a little bit and then getting bigger, but other than that, it's mostly big. So let's just go through this nice and slow. You can watch the overhead cam if you have any issues with fingering, but this is pretty basic stuff. So let's just get going. Memorize that is I just think 4 repetitions of D flat major, 4 of those, 2 repetitions of E flat minor with a D flat pedal tone. Pedal tone just means that it doesn't necessarily like that it's a tone that carries over from measure to measure, and it doesn't necessarily reflect the harmony that you're on. So like a classic example is Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier Prelude in C major, Book 1. They have a long G pedal through that bass until it finally resolves down to C, even though... Okay, so that's a pedal tone, okay? So you have 4 D flat majors, 2 E flat minors, and then 2 A flat majors, and then back to D flat, and then I go to A flat major altogether, and I switch my bass. Okay, so be thinking of that. I'm not going to do that for this entire section, but that's how you can memorize this section quickly, okay? Then you go to F. Okay, now, according to what your conductor wants to do here, my conductor... Thank you so much for watching. As with all ProPractice videos, the first section is free. If you'd like to view the rest of this video, you can click on the link in the description below. And I've also created a card link at the top of this screen that you can click on for the video. You'll also see, you can visit my website for all the lessons. You can subscribe to my channel, or you can view more videos over here. Thank you for joining me today. Good luck in your practice sessions.